Michael Nagy here with Jiggy Jag TV, and I'm here with Daniel from Aesthetic Perfection. How you doing today?
Hello, hello. I'm doing quite well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing good.
Cool.
Doing good. So you want to tell us a little about yourself, for anyone who doesn't know?
My name is Daniel Graves. I have been the main songwriter, producer, and God, I hate this word, mastermind. Oh, it's such a terrible, egotistical sounding word. But yeah. So my project is Aesthetic Perfection, and I have been doing this for going on 20 years.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, I started when I was 17. I'm 36.
Wow. How did it come to be? How started it?
You know, I had been a fan of dark electronic music for the better part of my teenage years, and I always wanted to make that kind of music, but at the time I didn't realize that you could do it on your own, and so I was constantly trying to form bands, and things just never really worked out, right? It's like you're juggling different egos, different schedules, all that kind of stuff. So all those bands inevitably broke up, and then once I was kind of aware of Trent Reznor, I was like, wow, this guy does it all on his own, maybe I can. So it was kind of like the genesis of the idea of being a solo artist.
Wow. Now, you're 100% independent now, right?
I am.
Now, how did that happen? I mean, that's incredible.
Doing this as long as I have, you kind of become less naive than you were at the beginning, and I had a lot of shady dealings with shady people who just took advantage of young and impressionable, naive young Daniel, and I felt like, given the climate of the current music industry, that with the decline of music sales and all of that kind of stuff, that the only way forward for me if I wanted to make a living, was to be an independent artist. So back in 2013 or 14, I parted with my European label, and then I parted with my manager in 2015, and then the end of 2015, I parted with my North American label. And this is not to say that all of these people were exploitative or, didn't do their best for me, but I just felt like if I was going to be able to turn this into a real sustainable career, I would have to do it on my own.
And the freedom, yeah.
And the freedom, yeah. I mean, the artistic freedom actually is not something that I ever really had a huge problem with. Luckily, the majority of the labels that I worked with were okay with that, aside from the one that forced me to split Necessary Response and Aesthetic Perfection into two different projects. But that that's a whole other story. But yeah, it was mostly an issue of trying to be more than just an artist, because I think these days you have to be an artist and a businessman, and I had to basically jump into the deep end and figure out how to swim.
Yeah, the new record, Into the Black, you can tell you put a lot of different elements, almost like your whole career catalog into it. It's just listen to it, it's amazing.
Thank you.
How long did that take?
I think I've been writing these songs I've been writing some of the songs for as far back as 3 or 4 years.
Oh, wow.
But when I finally buckled under the pressure of my fans who were like, we want an album.
Because you were just doing singles.
I was just doing the single thing, yeah. And for the longest time I was convinced that was the way forward, because, it's disheartening when you spend months or years of your life creating 10 songs and people only listen to the 2 singles, right?
Yeah.
And that sucks. And so I thought I would take a page from the pop music manual, and I would just put out singles every few months, and that was a great experiment. I really feel like I learned a lot from that, but something that you have to do if you want to be a good artist and a good businessman is actually listen to the people who consume your work. And everybody was like, singles are great, give us an album. And I thought that I would be a pretty crappy artist and businessman if I didn't listen to them. So I said, okay, cool. I've been writing songs for multiple years now. I should be able to assemble an album quite easily. And I sat down and I was like, this is going to be so easy. I'm just going to knock it out in 4 weeks. Took like 6 months.
Wow.
It was really just emotionally, physically, just exhausting on every single level. And it's something that I had really truly forgotten, because when I was deep in it, you know, and not sleeping and, you know, not coming home to my wife and cat and all that kind of stuff, I remembered, I realized, oh wow, this really is this is so hard, but it is so rewarding too, because, you know, with singles, you're just sitting down, you're like, okay, I'm gonna write one song and then I can dust my hands a bit. But, you know, with this album, I wrote 18 songs, I finished 14 of them, and I chose the best 10.
Wow. So the other 4 gonna eventually come to life?
Well, two of those actually made it on alternate versions of the album. So it's like I released it on CD, vinyl, and cassette. So the vinyl has one of those extra songs, and the cassette has one of those extra songs. And then what I do with the other 2 songs, I guess only time will tell. I mean, I think they're good songs, but they weren't good enough.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to choose the best 10. And I think that's another thing about making an album, is that you're not creating for the purpose of making a single or making a hit, right? Like, you're just sitting down and trying to make cool songs, and the hits will present themselves in time.
And I know you're big on visuals and videos. Do you have some videos coming from the new record?
Yeah, we've already shot 2 videos.
Cool.
We are just kind of in the process of editing and, you know, making slight adjustments and all that kind of stuff. We wanted to have a video drop like a week before the album, but, you know, I'm doing this all myself. So I didn't shoot the videos, I'm not editing them myself, but it's just like doing this all myself. I do have a new appreciation for my labels and my former management and all of the work that they did. I think maybe I took them a little bit for granted, so I'm sorry guys. I at least appreciate you a lot more now than I did then. But you know, when you're kind of like trying to juggle all of that on your own, it just, stuff falls through the cracks and things don't ever get done on time. So it's like my album came out yesterday. Still waiting on the manufacturing company to deliver the physical product. So I've got my inbox full of people being like, when's your album shipping? And I'm just like, I don't know. Hopefully in the next 3-4 weeks, but.
That's great that you respond.
I respond to everybody.
That's cool.
I respond to everybody. I do my best, because I feel like, you know, these are the people that are essentially keeping this whole machine running, right? Like, I cannot do this without the support of my fans. And when I look at bands that are, you know, orders of magnitude bigger than Aesthetic Perfection, you know, by all comparisons, like, Aesthetic Perfection is a tiny band. I should not be able to make a living.
You've gained so much momentum though. I mean, I went to Amphifest in Germany, and a lot of people were there just to see you guys, and I thought that was incredible.
That is super weird to me. But, you know, it's a great compliment, and I don't take it for granted, not one bit. But, you know, there's a band that I listen to. I'm not going to name them, but they're like in the metal scene, and they are just like hundreds of times bigger than us. When you look at their Spotify streams, their music video streams, just like everything, the Aesthetic Perfection stuff does not even come close. Their last album, they only printed 1,000 physical copies.
Wow.
And I only printed 1,000 physical CDs, and I am 60% sold out. Wow. And so, you know, that's just a testament to the, you know, the dedication of the fans that I have. And I'm like, so incredibly grateful and so like indebted to them, and I don't take that for granted. I pay attention to these things, and I recognize how lucky I am.
Well, I want to bring up Patreon is a big fan support, right,
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Now, if people want to look you up online, find you, how do they do that?
Well, I am all over the internet. I'm on the Facebooks, on the Twitters, on the Instagrams, everywhere. YouTube, yeah. I think probably the best way to find me would be just simply to Google either my label, Close to Human Music, my band, Aesthetic Perfection, or me as a person, Daniel Graves, which will, the hits will be 50% me and 50% the fine artist Daniel Graves, who I believe is an English oil painter. He's quite good, never met him. He might even be dead, but either way, it's good stuff. So do it.
That's awesome. It's good talking with you, and look
Yeah.
him up. Thank you.
Thank you so much.